This is the story of George Bailey, citizen of Bedford Falls, New York.
We share this town with George Bailey.
We are his friends,
his neighbors,
his family.
And some may call Miss Richards and I the town busybodies.
Oh, I prefer to say we are well informed.
Now, ladies, this is the story of George Bailey, and as his cousin, I know more than any of you. George Bailey, who more than anything under the sun, wanted to see the world.
The wonderful, exciting world that lay somewhere beyond the limits of his hometown.
Oddly enough, this story does not begin in Bedford Falls. In fact, it doesn't begin anywhere in the world. It begins
in heaven,
where the superintendent of angels has just summoned an apprentice angel named Clarence.
Oh, that's me. I'm really going down to Earth, ma'am? Oh, how splendid!
Yes, there's a very disencouraged man down there, Clarence. George Bailey. At exactly 10:45 p.m. Earth time, he'll be thinking about seriously ending his life. Now, I want you to stop him. Now sit down. I'll give you Bailey's case history.
Ma'am, if I should accomplish my mission, may I perhaps get my wings? I've been waiting over 200 years now, and
Well, you do a good job on George Bailey, and we'll see about your wings.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Now listen, when George Bailey was a boy, two events occurred that you should keep in mind. One was when his younger brother Harry fell through the ice and almost drowned. George saved him. Ever since, George has had a bad ear. All that icy water. You understand? The other event came a few months later. George used to work after school in Mrs. Gower's drugstore. One day, Mrs. Gower's only son died. It was a terrible blow, and poor Miss Gower tried to lose her grief in whiskey.
Where you been, George? Miss Blaine's called twice. What happened to her prescription? You lost it, didn't you?
No, Mrs. Gower. Here it is.
Why, you good for nothing. Don't you know the Blaine's girl's very sick?
Mrs. Gower, my ear! You're hurting my sore ear!
I'll teach you a little, you lazy brat.
Mrs. Gower, you don't know what you're doing. You put something wrong in those capsules.
Shut up.
I know you feel bad, but look, Mrs. Gower, look, this bottle. You use this bottle to make up the capsules. It's poison.
Poison?
Don't hurt my sore ear again, Mrs. Gower.
Poison? Oh, George.
It's why I didn't deliver, Mrs. Gower. All I wanted was to make sure.
George.
Well, Clarence, that was George Bailey as a boy. When he grew up, he wanted to go to college, but there just wasn't the money. So he worked 4 years in the Building and Loan Association. George's father was in the building and loan business. He and George's Uncle Billy. High deals and low bank account. Anyway, George worked for his father and saved enough to see him through the university. That summer, though, he was going to Europe. Got a job on a cattle boat, do a little traveling before college.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's hard to realize it's my last night at the Bailey boarding house.
We're sure gonna miss you, George.
I'm gonna miss you too, Pop. Hey, what's the matter? You look tired.
Oh, I had another tussle with old Henrietta Potter today.
Oh, I thought when you put her on the board of directors, she'd ease up.
So did I.
I just can't understand a woman like that, Miss Potter. She can't begin to spend all the money she has.
I guess Potter owns everything she wants in Bedford Falls, except our building and loan. That's why she hates us. I wish we could send your brother Harry to college with you.
We've got that all figured out now, Pop. He'll take my job at the building alone, work 4 years like I did, then he'll go.
George, when you get out of college, I don't suppose you'll come back to the building and loan.
Oh, no, now, Pop, I just couldn't. I just feel like if I didn't get away, I'd bust.
You're right, boy. You get yourself an education, then you get out of here.
Oh, Pop. Pop, do you want a shock? I think you're a pretty great guy.
Well, thanks, George. I'm glad to hear it. Look, why don't you go over to Harry's dance? You'll have a good time.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll drop in. Maybe I will at that.
So George Bailey went to a dance.
It was the dance that he met Mary Hatch.
And 3 hours later, he was walking her home.
George and Mary were feeling pretty good. As a matter of fact, wonderful.
Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight?
Can't you come out tonight?
Can't you come out tonight?
Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight?
And dance by the light of the moon. Gee whiz, you know something? If it wasn't me talking, I'd say you were the prettiest girl in town.
Well, why don't you say it?
George.
Hey, Uncle Billy, look here, I'm gonna kiss Mary. Watch.
George, get in the car. Quick, your father's had a stroke.
Wait, what?
George, hurry.
George's father died that night.
That fall, just as he was ready to leave for college, the directors of the building and loan had a meeting.
They were going to appoint a successor to Mr. Bailey.
A successor to our dear friend, Peter Bailey. What was that you said, Mrs. Potter?
I said, as long as Peter Bailey's dead, let's dissolve the building and loan. We don't need it.
Now, wait a minute there. Why my father ever started this cheap penny-8 building and loan, I'll never know. But just remember this, Miss Potter, that this rabble you're talking about, they do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community. Well, is it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? Anyway, my father didn't think so. People were human beings to him. But to you, a warped, frustrated old woman, they're cattle. Well, in my book, he died a much richer man than you'll ever be. This town needs this measly one-horse institution, if only to have some place where people can borrow dollars without crawling to you.
George, what happened?
They're in there voting us out of business.
Will you get out of here, George? You missed your boat trip. You want to miss college, too?
George, we just voted Mrs. Potter down. We're still in business. But there's one condition, George. They've appointed you to take your father's place.
Appoint me? But I'm going to college. Look, this is my last chance. Uncle Billy, he's your man.
George, you've got to take it. They'll vote with Mrs. Potter otherwise. George Bailey didn't go to college.
He gave his college money to Harry. Harry went instead. And what happened to that good-looking girl, Mary?
George saw her now and then, but not very often, because Mary went away to school too.
Anyway, George waited 4 more years for Harry to come back and take over the building and loan.
He could still see the world. He planned to work in the oil fields, Venezuela.
Except, when Harry came home, he wasn't alone. There was a girl with him. His wife.
George?
Yeah, I'm out here on the porch, Mother. Just thought I'd get some air.
Well, how do you like your new sister-in-law?
She's swell.
Looks like she can keep Harry on his toes.
Yeah, and keep him out of Bedford Falls anyway.
What do you mean?
Well, Ruth's father. He's got a wonderful job for Harry up in Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Well, that means that you can't...
Yeah.
George, did you know Mary Hatch is back from school? Nice girl, Mary. Oh, stop grunting. Give me one good reason why you shouldn't call on Mary.
Well, Sam Wainwright. Sam's crazy about her.
Well, she's not crazy about him. Besides, Sam is away in New York.
And all's fair in love and war.
George, you go and see Mary. Do you hear?
And George did just that. He went to go see Mary.
George? Is that you out there?
I just happened to be passing by.
Are you coming in? Your mother just phoned. She said you were coming over.
Oh, my mother just... well, all right, I'll come in for a minute. I didn't tell anybody I was coming over here. When did you get back?
Tuesday. It's nice about your brother and Gladys, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's all right.
Oh. It's just marriage in general you aren't enthusiastic about,
No, marriage is all right for a lot of people. You know, it's all right for Harry, Sam Wainwright, and you.
Sam says he has a big deal coming up that's gonna make us all rich, George. Something about soybeans and plastics. He's building a factory here. And he may have a job for you. Unless you're still married to that building and loan.
Now, you listen to me, Mary. I don't want any plastics, and I don't want any job. And I don't want to get married, ever, to anyone. Do you understand that? I want to do what I want to do, and you're not going to trick me. And you're... Mary...
George.
I love you, Mary.
So George Bailey and Mary Hatch were married.
And they had just started out on their honeymoon when they ran smack into the financial panic of 1932.
In the waiting room of the building and loan, 100 frantic people were clamoring for their savings.
Hey, what's going on, Uncle Billy? What's happened? All those people out there.
This is a pickle, George. All I know is that the bank called our loan an hour ago. We had to hand over all of our cash. And our charter says we have to stay open until 6 p.m. The state can't even take away our license if we don't. How can we stay open until 6 without any money? George, what are we going to do?
I'll talk to the people and explain that if Miss Potter gets a hold of their shares, she'll be owning this building and loan. She's got the bank, she's got the bus line, and she's got the department stores. And now she's after us because she wants to keep them living in her shacks and paying the kind of rent she decides to charge. Now, we can get through this thing all right, but we've got to stick together. We've got to have faith in each other.
Later, George met with Miss Potter.
Now, George, you're a young man, married, making, say, $40 a week at the building and loan. Now, if you were any ordinary yokel, I'd say you were doing fine, but George Bailey is intelligent, ambitious. He hates the building and loan almost as much as I do. George, I want to hire you. Manage my affairs. I'll start you off with $20,000.
Well, what about the building and loan?
I am offering you a 3-year contract at $20,000 a year. Is it a deal or isn't it?
No. No, the answer's no. Doggone it, if you offered me $1 million to stay around this town and play stooge to you, the answer would still be no. Now leave me alone. Don't bother.
Now you know almost everything you have to know about George Bailey.
Except when we find him here wanting to die.
Today's the day before Christmas, Earth time. George is pretty excited.
Hey, Tilly, look at the newspaper. Commander Harry Bailey, decorated by the president. That's my kid brother, the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Gosh, George, gosh.
He saved lives, hundreds of lives. Where's Uncle Billy?
Gone to the bank, George. He's depositing that $8,000.
Oh, who's that in his office there?
It's that man again, the bank examiner.
How'd you like the news in the paper, Miss Potter? Just can't keep those Bailey boys down, now can you?
Let me see that newspaper.
Here, sorry, I can't chat, you old thief. Gotta make a deposit. It's all here. Deposit slip, bank book, and a very Merry Christmas to you. Wait, where's the money? It's gone. Where'd I put it? Where'd I put the money?
A terrible thing, terrible. Uncle Billy couldn't find the money because the envelope with the $8,000 was folded up in that newspaper he gave to Old Lady Potter.
$8,000, Uncle Billy. The bank examiner's here and it's not our money. It belongs to the depositors.
George, what are we gonna do? We've traced every step I took. We can't stand here in the street.
Where is that money, you silly old fool? Do you know what this means? It means bankruptcy and scandal and prison. One of us is going to jail, and it's not going to be me. Now get out of my way. I'm going home.
George, dear, what's wrong? You haven't said a word since you came home.
With all that banging on the piano, does she have to keep playing that same song over and over again?
I have to practice for the Christmas party, Daddy.
What is it, dear? Another hectic day?
Yeah, another red letter day for the Baileys.
Dad, the Murphy's got a brand new car. You should see it.
What's the matter with our car? Isn't it good enough for you?
I'm sorry, Dad. I only...
Run upstairs, see if Zuzu's alright.
Okay, Mom.
Oh, now what do you mean, see if Zuzu's alright? What do you mean?
Oh, she caught a little cold coming home from school. She didn't button up her coat.
Well, what is it? What do you mean, just a cold?
George, the doctor said it was nothing serious.
The doctor? Was there a doctor here?
Well, I thought he'd better take a look at her.
It's this drafty old house. It's no wonder we all don't have pneumonia. Might as well be living in a refrigerator. Why did we have to live here in the first place and stay around this measly, crummy old town?
George, what's happened?
Everything's happened. You call this a happy family? Why do we have to have all these kids?
Daddy, how do you spell frankincense?
I don't know how to spell it. Ask your mother. And stop playing that lousy piano. Cut it out. Stop it.
George, for heaven's sakes, what's wrong with you?
I'm sorry, Mary. Janie, I'm sorry. I've just got to get out of here.
So, that's it, George. You're short $8,000 in your account, eh?
Please, Miss Potter, I'll pay any sort of bonus if you still want the building and loan.
What kind of security would I have, George? What collateral?
Yes, ma'am. I have some life insurance here. A $15,000 policy.
What's your equity in it?
$500.
I'm calling the district attorney. $500. You know something, George? You're worth more dead than you are alive. Now get out of here. Get out!
And all that time, Miss Potter had the $8,000 in her desk drawer.
And George wanders out into the night, stunned, sort of in a daze.
Oh, God. God, dear Father in heaven, I'm not a praying man, but if you're up there and you can hear me, show me the way. I'm at the end of my rope. Show me the way, God.
Hi, it's me, Clarence. But this is where I come in. Numb with despair, convinced, as Miss Potter said, that he's worth more dead than alive, George Bailey stands on a bridge, staring at the dark and frigid waters below. Suddenly, there's a splash. Psh! Help, help, I'm drowning! Oh, help, no, that's not George, it's me, Clarence, the apprentice angel. And there goes George in after me. Psh! It's a few minutes later now, and off in the bridge keeper's shack, George and I are drying off.
How'd you happen to fall in?
Oh, I jumped in. I jumped in to save you.
Jumped in to save me?
Well, I mean, I did, didn't I? You didn't go through with it, did you?
Go through with what?
Suicide. It's against the law where I come from.
Where do you come from?
Heaven, George.
How'd you know my name?
Oh, I know all about you.
Who are you supposed to be, anyway?
Angel. Second class.
Hey, look here. Why did you want to save me?
Because I'm your guardian angel, George.
Oh, I see. Uh-huh. Well, you look like the kind of guardian angel I'd get. What happened to your wings?
I haven't won my wings yet. That's why I'm an angel second class. But you can help me earn them, George, by letting me help you. You just don't realize what you've done for your folks. Why, if it hadn't have been for you...
Yeah, if it hadn't been for me, everybody'd be better off. My wife and my kids and my friends.
What did you say?
I said, I wish I'd never been born.
Oh, George, that's wonderful. You got your wish. You've never been born. You don't have a bad ear anymore. Oh, I don't think you're concentrating. Don't you see? You're not the George Bailey you think you are. You're nobody.
What about this place? It's all changed.
All of Bedford Falls has changed. You're having your wish, George. You were never born. Oh, there'll be a lot of things you've never seen before. Oh, good. Somebody just made it.
Made what?
Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
Hey, it's Miss Gower. Miss Gower, listen, Miss Gower, don't you know me? This is George Bailey.
Who are you, mister? You got a quarter?
That's Miss Gower, the druggist.
She doesn't know you, George. She spent 20 years in jail for poisoning some kid. See, you weren't there to stop her from putting poison into that prescription. It's because you weren't born. You've been given a great gift, George. A chance to see what a world would be like if you'd never been born.
You're crazy. I'm going home to my wife and family. Do you understand that?
George, wait!
Mary! Mary, where are you?
This is just an old abandoned house, George. You have no wife, no children.
George then visited his mother's house.
George, are you alright?
My mother. My own mother didn't even know me. If only Harry were here. If my brother were only back from Washington.
Your brother fell through the ice and drowned at the age of 9.
That's a lie. He got the Congressional Medal of Honor. He saved the lives of every man on that transport.
Every man on that transport died. Strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many other lives. Harry wasn't there to save them because you weren't there to save Harry. Don't you see, George? You really had a wonderful life. Didn't you see what a mistake it would be to throw it away?
Clarence, where's Mary? Please, where is my wife?
You're not gonna like it, George. The library. She works there. She's just about to lock up for the night, so George! George, come back! Oh, there must be some easier way for me to get my wings.
Mary! Mary!
I'm sorry, the library's closed.
Mary, it's George. Don't you know me?
No, I don't know you. Hey, let me go!
Mary, please don't do this to me. Please, Mary, help me. Where's our kids? I need you, Mary. Help me, Mary.
Let me go! Get your hands off me!
Clarence! 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 Where are you? Help me, Clarence. Get me back. I don't care what happens to me. Only get me back with my wife and kids, please. I want to live again.
Oh, thank you, George. Thank you, Lord.
I want to live again, please. Oh, God, please let me live again.
What in the Sam Hill are you yelling for, George?
Come on. George. Bert, do you know me?
No, you. I've been looking all over town for you. Where you been?
Oh, Bertie. Bertie, I'm alive again, Bertie.
You sure you're all right?
Zuzu's Christmas bell, Bertie. I had it in my pocket. Here it is. Hey, it's in my pocket. What do you know about that? Hey, Merry Christmas, Bertie.
Well, Merry Christmas. Get in the car. I'll drive you home.
Mary, there's a deficit at the bank. $8,000. I'll bet there's a warrant for my arrest. Isn't that wonderful? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Daddy.
Merry Christmas, Daddy.
Merry Christmas, Daddy.
Kids. Hey, kids. Oh, I could eat you up. Where's your mother?
She went looking for you, Daddy, with Uncle Billy.
Zuzu. Oh, my little ginger snap. How do you feel?
Fine, Daddy. Not a smidge of temp.
Not a smidge of temp. Hallelujah!
George, darling! Oh, where have you been? Oh, George!
Oh, Mary. Oh, you're real. Oh, you have no idea what's happened to me.
You have no idea what's happened either. They're on their way here.
Who? Who's on their way? Oh, the police department, the FBI, the National Guard. I'm alive again, Mary. Oh, listen, Mary, I'm alive again.
Your friends, George, with a laundry basket filled with money. Money for you. People heard you were in trouble, darling. These people, your friends, they've collected this money for you. The $8,000.
Gosh, this is wonderful. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. That's right, that's right. Attaboy, Clarence, attaboy, Clarence. Happy landings.
And that is the story of George Bailey.
And how Clarence earned his wings.
And how I, George Bailey, discovered it is a wonderful life.